Elise, he's very bullish on what the American military has done in Iran, and the American military is extremely effective. But the assessment of what Iran does still have is not, at least the public assessment of it, or the intelligence assessments that we've been able to get reporting on, it doesn't align with the way that the Secretary of Defense and the President speak about what Iran has left. Can you help me understand the disconnect?
Sure. I mean, listen, they have gone after these targets and have reached them. It doesn't mean, two things can be true, Katie. The U.S. military has, hit a lot of targets, and Iran still has 900 pounds of highly enriched uranium, about 11 tons of uranium total. They still do have missiles. They still do have these drones that are proving very effective. So in one sense, it is true. The U.S. military has hit the targets it's reached. And Iran is also waging this asymmetrical war with drones, with the Strait of Hormuz, as we were talking around before, that is actually causing more damage to the world and the global economy than the nuclear program was at the time. And like we said, if they had been able to obliterate the nuclear program, I think that might be money and time and military action well worth spending. But right now, we're at a strategic stalemate where Trump doesn't want to blink because he thinks that the Iranians will blink. And the Iranians, if you know anything about them, they're not going to blink right now. And so you have this stalemate where it could go on, and the cost continues to expand in terms of the global economic cost, and the military gains and the strategic gains are not keeping pace with what we're seeing in the public.
So there's the economic cost. I wonder, one of the things that we haven't fully contended with, maybe because we're so far out from 9/11, but just the hangover on terrorism in this country, foreign terrorism. And for a long time, especially living here in New York, it was a daily, very scary thing. It hasn't been so as much recently. It feels scarier today, though, because you're worried about Iran. You're worried about people who might say, why does the U.S. keep getting involved in the Middle East? What are they doing? They keep bombing this place. And there's a sense among the American public that, we had learned a hard lesson and we were going to start pulling back. I mean, it's part of what Donald Trump, again, campaigned on. Is this administration, is it reconciling that? Or is it assuming that fear is gone?
Katie, I honestly think they didn't think this through to that extent. Because when you'll notice when Trump talks, he constantly goes back to Venezuela, constantly. I literally think he had in his mind, I'm going to go in, I'm going to do this for 2 to 3 days. The very idea that, for example, Congress should be involved. Why? It's going to be a 1 to 2 day thing. So I don't think they thought this through to that extent. He keeps going back to this Venezuela analogy as if a South American strongman is the same thing as an Islamic revolutionary regime that has demonstrated that it will kill and be killed at a staggering scale and still maintain its beliefs.
Not everyone is a Pete Hegseth political appointee, though, in the military. So somebody had to give him an honest assessment that Venezuela and Iran are not the same, right?
I hope so. I think what he wants to talk about, the reason why he wants to talk about Venezuela is because he views it as a win. He thinks he keeps comparing Iran to Venezuela, that people will think it's a win. That's why he keeps doing it. Now he wants to keep that momentum up and roll on into Cuba. I think, first of all, that was just so incredibly painful to watch. And as we sit here, I never want to normalize how ridiculous so much of that is. But I think your breaking news headline is actually very important to our national security because he continues to drive away our allies. We have an army base that you served on in Italy. We put naval destroyers in Spain. He's now threatening to pull troops out of Germany.
And Germany, remind us why Germany is so important.
Because it's there to block against the Russians. I mean, this is like the most basic stuff.
We also have a military hospital that we use quite a bit there.
And there's that as well.
Some of our biggest military bases in the world, most important in the world, are in Germany.
Yeah. I mean, this is the framework that has kept America secure for generations. So I think your point is an important one. And I think Americans don't feel safer. They don't feel safer with troops overseas. They feel this instability from the domestic terrorism threat and from the political violence. And they're always worried about Iranian proxies. I think everybody who walks up the door and goes to a big baseball game or goes to a big crowd event has got that in the back of their head.
Yeah.
And DHS was just shut down for 2 months.
I mean, it's not just foreign terrorism. Now it's homegrown terrorism and someone with a gun wanting to come in and shoot a bunch of people up. Yep. So the worries just keep on compounding. One more to you on the subject of bases overseas. Can you help me understand, Elise, the motivation of Chancellor Merz to go out there and say that the Iranians have embarrassed us? It wasn't that long ago that Merz seemed pretty cozy, not cozy, but trying to be close with the president, trying to be on good terms with him. What happened?
I think that he noticed that it wasn't making any progress. He's kind of damned if he does. He's damned if he doesn't. He has his own political constituency to deal with. He saw what happened with Greenland. He saw what happened with NATO. And I think that world leaders are just completely frustrated. There's nothing really short of giving President Trump everything he wants that's going to please him. And even then, it's not really working. So I think he's speaking more to what the world public is thinking, what his public is thinking, and what the European kind of community is thinking. I mean, he's talking more like the rest of the EU. And I think there's more and more of this frustration and a sense that, you know what, we can't put up with this anymore. I think the frustration is really starting to show with these world leaders.
The world is